Hello, welcome to Candy Shoppe Yarns, where everything is sugar-free and high in fiber. I am Deborah, your confectioner extraordinaire. I'm the owner of Candy Shoppe Yarns, and this is the ultimate destination for knitting and crochet enthusiasts. This is episode 21. It is November 10th, 2023, and I'm looking forward to just visiting with you today and sharing what I have been creating. I will have a life update. I will announce our giveaway winner from last episode. I will share 2 finished objects, 3 works in progress, happy mail, and I will be talking a little bit about my Advent knitting crochet plans, and I have shop news, which is really fun. This time I'm really excited about it. This is the reason why it's taken me so long to record, because I've been getting ready for this one. So let's get ready. Let's get ready. No, let's get started. That's what it is. All right, life update. Well, it was Halloween ever since the last time I recorded, and it was my job to plan and oversee our church's trunk or treat a few days before Halloween. If you have not participated in one or not familiar with that, it's where people get together very often, but not always, decorate their trunks in some fun way and hand out candy to kids as they, dress up and come around trick-or-treating. But it's at the trunk. So it's where it's all in one space, confined. They don't have to go out further, Anyways, it's just fun. It's fun. And we also had chili and cornbread. We had a pumpkin decorating contest, carving. I dressed up as a mermaid and decorated my trunk in an under the sea theme, which was fun. I didn't take any pictures. And then for our pumpkin carving contest, I'm not a fan of carving pumpkins, I will just say. I really hate the mess of scraping out the seeds and just, I don't know. I don't like doing it, but thought I'm gonna do it, but I'm going to do it my own way. So I actually made a fairy pumpkin house. So I'm going to put that here so you can see it. And my poor fairy pumpkin house looked angry. And it's because the windows angled down the top of them. They weren't straight, they were angled down, so it gives the pumpkin angry face, like it's yelling. But that was fun. That was fun to make. And then for one of our homeschool classes, our worldviews and religions class that we're doing this year, we took a trip to downtown Salt Lake to the Cathedral of the Madeleine, which is a beautiful, beautiful cathedral. And we went there for their All Souls Day Mass, and they had an amazing choir, and it was just a really, really beautiful experience. So that was fun. And then today I finished my advent calendars for my shop and shipped them all out. It is done, out of my hands. So I'm so glad, and I'm so excited for everybody to get them. I was telling my family that I'm kind of sad that I'm not on the receiving end of it to be able to experience it the same way that my customers will. So, I know everything that's in there. I planned it. I think it's fun. It's fabulous. But I personally would be really happy to be on the receiving end of it. So I really hope those of you that ordered one, that you're happy with your advent calendars. But I'm so excited about them. And I have plans for my advent calendars this year, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So let's first talk about our giveaway winner. So I have this project bag. Earlier in the year, I went through all my project bags. I can't remember which episode, but I had a ridiculous stack of project bags, and I decided to sort through them and use some for giveaways so that I could have more room for more project bags. I don't know that I really have more room for more project bags, but it makes me feel like I do. So, so this is one of the bags, and this may be the first project bag that I made for myself, possibly. I made one for myself and my sister to match, and it is a nice large sweater size bag. And then with it, I have 2 skeins of my Mermaid Lemonade colorway, but they're 50 grams each, so it's 100 grams. The winner of this giveaway is Carol Daly. So Carol, I've seen your name pop up in comments and on Instagram, but if you would get a hold of me through my email, the email is listed in the description box below. It's candyshopyarns@gmail.com. If you would contact me, because I need your mailing information so I can send your prize out to you. So congratulations. I'm not going to do another giveaway this week because I just didn't get it together in time. So I'll have to do that on the next episode. So let's get right into projects. Let's see, the first one that I have, I'm so happy to be done with. It is my second Musselburg hat. So this one I made with Kinross 4-ply in the colorway Mustard, which is number 20. And they come in 50 gram hanks, and I ended up needing 2 of them. I was going to make this reversible, one color on one side and one on the other, but decided I don't think that the recipient would like, when they fold up the brim, to have another color showing on the outside. So I could have done it just to this point and then the last little bit another color, but I didn't want to have to work out the math, figure that out. I just thought I'm gonna do it all in one color. So I had to order more. I got the yarn in, finished it up, and it fits wonderfully. I was really worried when I was at the very end and all I had left were the decreases. I was looking at it and thinking, this looks huge, like really wide. I thought, what? I mean, I couldn't remember what, where is it? Couldn't remember what size I had made, and I needed to know that in order to do my decreases. And I opened it up, opened up my notes, and realized I was making the adult large. I thought, why am I making the large? Because I thought I was going to do the medium, not the large. Anyways, I just was really worried that this was going to be really loose and floppy. So I was about to rip it all back to just the beginning increases. And then I thought, you know, I'm just gonna finish it and block it and see how it fits. Because all I have to do are decreases. And if it works, I will have a hat. If it doesn't, it's not that much extra knitting that I had done already on top of it, you know, that I'd have to rip out. So I soaked it and blocked it, and I think that it's great. It fits good. What I think my line of thinking when I was planning this size is I made one for my husband in the large, and I put it on my head, and I thought this is a little bit loose, but by the time I add a fold to it, because his didn't have a folded brim, it was just singles, I made his shorter. And then you add in hair, you know, big curly hair or whatever it is, that will take up more space. So I think that's what I was thinking, is I wanted to make allowances for folding it up, which is going to kind of be tighter and suck it in a bit more. So anyways, yeah, it fits great. So I have my second one done to add to my Christmas knits, and I have yarn ready for the next hat, but I haven't decided if I'm going to cast that on yet or not, or if I'm going to wait. I have a lot of things that I want to make, and I kind of got tired of knitting the Musselburg hat after a bit. It's essentially knitting 4 hats. 4, not 4, 2 hats, and I knit 2 of them, so it's like I knit 4 hats. Those of you who have made it know exactly what I'm talking about, which is, you know, a million people, but especially when it's just in one solid color, which I think looks fantastic. It looks fantastic, but it's not engaging. So it's really great for an on-the-go project, for movie theater knitting, things like that, but not to keep my interest. So this yarn feels so nice when it's blocked. When you're knitting with it, it feels a little bit linen-y, maybe, almost, just a tad bit rough, or I don't even know if rough is the right word, but once you block it, it just kind of softens and smooths out and just feels so lovely. I feel like the stitches look really lovely on it. I just really love this yarn. As a matter of fact, so I've already ordered twice. My knitting group is placing another order, and I've added some to that order as well. I have enough to knit the world, some of these hats. So that's my first finished object for this episode, and the next one is, I shared it last time, not finished though. This is the Arctic Doodle cowl, and it's the single-sided version, and I just loved making this one so much. I'm showing you the back side. That's where the jog is, the seam where I switch, you know, from one row to the next, though you can barely even tell. That's the front side. So with this one, I did folded ribbing on the top and the bottom. That's where I wove in my end. There we go. And I feel like that gave it a really nice finish. I did do 1 row of purl stitches halfway through so that it would fold over really nicely. And let's see, how did I finish this one? Now I can't remember if I whip stitched it down. That's what I did. Okay, so I had live stitches on my needle, and then I had the, it's okay Luna, I had the, see the inside? That's where I wove in ends. Nice and messy. And then I had the first row of the ribbing. So what I did is I got a really long tail, and I picked up the stitch from the first row of the ribbing, and then the stitch of that was on the needle that was live, and pulled that off the needle and did that together. And then I just kind of whip stitched and did that with both stitches all the way around, making sure to line up the correct stitches. And I could do that because the ribbing, I could follow the ribbing column all the way around to make sure that it laid flat, because I got part way through and it was kind of angled a little bit, and I realized I was off by a stitch or two, and so I undid it and went back and made sure I followed the, here you can see actually had the there's a section where I was weaving in my ends. Right there you can see it's a little bit twisted sideways. I didn't go all the way back, but then I corrected it after that. So anyways, I think that it helps it to not flare out, because often the tops of cowls will flare out a bit, or even if they don't flare out, it's still a little bit looser on the bind off than the cast on, and it will be a little more floppy. So I feel like this kept it even. Now my plan was to line this with fabric But after I got done, I thought this is so thick already. It would be so overly warm that I think it would make it actually uncomfortable. So I'm glad that I caught my floats, because I was thinking I don't really need to worry about catching my floats as closely together because they're going to be covered with fabric. But in the end, I did catch them anyways. So here are my floats. Because everybody wants to see that. I tried a technique up on the top here where there were really long ones, and it didn't work to catch them on the same row. I'm trying to remember why. Because I was using three colorways on one row, and it was a bit much to try to catch the floats as well. So I made a long float, and then I pulled it up on the row above and caught it with the row above. But that's the inside of the cowl. So that is done, and that is a shop sample, but also just something for me to use. It's not going in my gifts. It was going to, and I decided no, that it's gonna live with me. It took me, let's see, it's 12 3/4 inches long, and you can create your own, I didn't even tell you what the pattern was. Arctic Doodle Cowl patterned by Pacific Knit Co. And the pattern releases today. Well, it has released today. So there are, I don't remember how many, 25, 27 different charts that you can pick from. And she gives you tips, tricks, lots of great information on doing that. But you can kind of just stack which ones you like on top of each other and create your own sequence of charts. Pull the ones you like in, leave the ones you don't like out. And she has some predetermined charts, like pre-made charts, so you don't have to even figure out your own. And those are 60 and 61 rows tall. So I kind of use that as my gauge of how many rows I needed. And in the end, I think mine was like 68 or 72 rows, something like that. So with that, I use DK weight yarn. I have folded ribbing, so that will use a little bit more yarn. But in the end, mine took, I have my notes here. This was a test knit that I did. It took, I wrote it down, but where did I write it down? Well, now I have to find that. Oh, 180 grams, which was 416 yards total of all the different colors combined. So if you didn't do the folded ribbing, it wouldn't take quite as much, but that's almost 2 full skeins of yarn, almost, 200 grams of yarn for the size that I made. And I really like it. It fits very nicely. Let's put it on. So a lot of people used this bottom chart. It was a very popular one in all the testers. But it uses 3 colors per row, which was tricky, and this was one of the bigger charts, and it used it throughout almost the entire chart. So I'm glad I put that one on the bottom, because I kind of got that out of the way, and then everything else seemed super easy and fast. So I've got 2 tree charts and a snowflake and kind of just a fun border. But the only thing, one reason why I liked the idea of lining it is if, it flops open, you wouldn't see the inside. But one thing you can do is kind of tuck it in. So I think it's lovely. I'll leave it on. unless it gets too warm. Okay, so that's all of my my finished objects. So now to my projects that I'm currently working on. I'm trying not to bump everything here. Oh, no, we'll do this. So I had so much fun making this cowl that I decided to start a second one, and I'm doing the infinity version. So this one, the patterns are knit up. With the infinity version, they're knit sideways. And I, instead of using DK weight yarn, I decided to use fingering weight yarn for this one. Because, well, here, let me show you what I've got so far. Oh, I love it. So there is a provisional cast on. What I did for this one is, instead of doing like a crochet provisional cast on, I just knit a couple of rounds of my bare yarn before going into the pattern, and I can go pick up the stitches of the first row of the pattern and just unravel, like pick out the knit stitches. And I just decided to try that, give that a try. Amber Lindman of Yarn Hoarder podcast, she does that. I've done that a couple times, but I haven't tried it with color work, so we'll see. I mean, the provisional cast on part, that's not color work, so that's fine. But I am a little over halfway through my cowl. The reason I decided to do fingering weight yarn is, one, I have a lot of it, and two, it's held double. You're okay, Luna. Like, this is single-sided, and this is why this one is called a double-sided or infinity, because you don't put it on the same way like this. It is made in a big loop and grafted together, and so it's double thickness. So not only is it 2 layers of fingering weight yarn, but then also the floats all the way around. So I thought if that was DK weight, that would be extra thick. So I thought that might be too warm. It does mean that it's going to take a lot longer because it's much thinner, but it also means I can get more charts in because it takes more rows to get farther. So I was happy about that because there were so many that I liked that I wanted to include, so I include a lot of them. So let me show you what some of them are so far. So I have these little polar bears that I did in purple with my gray stuff colorway. Then we've got trees, and then this one is just kind of a border, kind of like this one. Come here, Luna. And then this one are little tiny pine trees with the Aurora Borealis above it, the Northern Lights. Another kind of just band of another design, I don't know. And then we've got narwhals, which I think are fun. And then this section, which I think is hard to see in this lighting. I'm trying to figure out the lighting. Not quite, it's not quite right. Are snowflakes, then penguins, then trees, and then more snowflakes. What I decided for these colorways is that I wanted to do something where it wasn't solid colors like this, and I wanted it to have a little less contrast. Some of it has high contrast. You know, like this section is high contrast, this section is higher contrast, but other ones are lower contrast, and I just love the look that you get with that, and with variegated yarns, tonal yarns. I think it just gives it another dimension. Let me try and get close. Can you see the, you know, we've got variegation, tonal colorways, some light speckling. It just gives it a different look. What are you doing? Don't get into that. So here are the colorways that I pulled out, and I'll tell you what they are. I've got my strand, my project still attached. Oh, I love them so much. Okay, starting on right here. I'm trying to keep my dog happy here with my other hand. We've got Siren's Song. A lot of these are from my Mermaid Kingdom collection. So Siren's Song on the end. Next to that is Seaside Sunset, Fish Scales and Mermaid Tails. And then I've got next to that is Minty Sweet, Elderberry. These two are not from the Mermaid Kingdom collection. Elderberry. This one is Ocean Odyssey. And this one has purples and pinks and blues. And this one is just lots of different kinds of greens and teals. This one is peaches and yellows and pinks. This one is purples and pinks and reds. And then the other ones are more semi-solids. Then I've got some of my gumball mini skeins that I grabbed to use for accents. And I've got Abyss. This one is an undyed, which I call Marshmallow. And Gray Stuff, because I didn't want to use white through everything because I thought that would be a little too stark when I was trying to do lower contrast. So I've got Marshmallow and Gray Stuff. And then I have, is this one Midnight Berry Bliss? I'm trying to remember. I forgot. And Jade Delight. So these are ones that are all in my shop right now. I just went through and just pulled out ones that I've been wanting to use. And I've been wanting to use my Mermaid Kingdom collection in a project. And this won't use a lot of that yarn, so I will have enough for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. Yeah. I will have enough of all of these that I could do a sweater, like faded sweater project. And I have a pattern for that I wanted to try, and that is, watch out Luna, oh, you knocked my pattern over. That one is La Prairie by Joji Locatelli. And it has these baubles and it's fingering weight yarn. I can't remember if it's held double with something, I don't think it is, but I thought that it would be fun to use this to make a sweater when I was done. So that is fun. Now, the really exciting news, and I'm going to share that now, not in my shop news section, is that I can give a copy of this pattern away, and I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to do it next time. Yeah, I'm going to do it next time so I can add it with a bag. Okay. And I'm going to be stocking her doodle decks. So I will be having those in my shop soon, just waiting for them to get delivered. So the doodle decks are packs of cards that are the charts. They're one set for each, one pack for each season, and then there's some additional packs. I've just initially ordered the season, like the specific seasonal ones. So a spring, winter, summer, fall. I don't know why I said that so out of order. I don't know. And they have the charts that are in patterns that you can print to download, but I liked the idea of having them in like decks of cards. So I'm just really excited about that. You can pull them from all different decks and mix and match, and I've purchased a whole bunch of her patterns as well to download and print some of the additional charts. So I'm really excited about that. So that's my first work in progress. My second work in progress, it was almost a finished object. I've shared this so many times now. This is my home sweater V-neck project by Caidree, and I am knitting this using my own hand-dyed yarns in the Nutmeg colorway. And let me show you what I have done. I think I was to this point last time, and then I added in one sleeve. And then I added in the second sleeve to there. I was sitting down with my husband watching Dancing with the Stars, knitting away, and just on ribbing, I don't even have to look at it. I can just knit without looking. And as I'm knitting away, I'm like, this feels funny. As I was knitting, and I looked down, and I'm only knitting with a mohair. This is 2 yarns held together. And I had run out of the main yarn, so ripped it back to this point. I ran out. I lost Yarn Chicken. I didn't think I was, well, I was playing Yarn Chicken. So what I had done is I had weighed the yarn that I had left before I started the sleeves, and I divided them in half. And I knit the first sleeve with the yarn that I had less of to make sure I had enough for the second one. Come here, Luna. Let's not whine anymore. You're being very whiny. And I didn't get as far on the ribbing as it called for. I think the pattern called for maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch more. But I wasn't really too worried about that because this is superwash yarn, and superwash yarn grows when you block it. So I thought that's not going to be a problem. So then I started the second one, and I'm knitting away, and I run out, and then I think I used actually the one that had less second than the first one. And this is too short. It is way too short. And if I were to rip back the other one to this length, that would be too short. And I just don't want to have to dye a full skein to do one more inch of ribbing. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I don't have mini skeins on this base, it's a different base. So let me show you the difference in length. Okay. That's the difference in the length. I've already woven in my ends here because I'm like, I'm doing really good. I wove in all my ends before I started the second sleeve, but it's okay. I think I'm going to rip this out and knit straight from this one onto this one until they're exactly the same. And then I think I'm going to dye a mini skein that is on a DK weight sparkle base, but this one has silk in it. And the silk takes up the dye differently than other yarns. And so it's a little bit more muted, a little bit softer in color. How much though? Really? Let me see. Oh, you can't even tell on the camera. In person it's different, but not dramatically. Okay, I think I'm going to, no, I don't have them. I don't have a DK weight one that's a sparkle base because this one has stellina in it. So I could do it without sparkle and do a 20-gram mini and just do the last little bit of ribbing on both ends, and it'll be kind of like a little border. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure this out. I just don't know. Yeah, in the end, it's not done, and it should be. But when I dye yarn the next time, I will dye whatever I'm going to do, figure it out. It'll be finished one way or another. Oh, got fluff. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you sad? When I'm talking and not talking to her, to my dog, she's just very upset about it. Okay, my last project. So I only have three, yes. The cowl, the sweater, and these socks, which I have talked about a million times, but I put these on hold because I wanted to finish this cowl, my test knit, and I had to finish this before I could finish the sweater. And once I ran out of yarn on the sweater, then I picked up the socks. and I had finished the first sock, and I was just to here, I think, last time for the foot. And this time I have knit that much in the last day. So this will take me 1 or 2 more days to finish, and this pair of socks will be done. And I will have them. I feel like they're good fall Thanksgiving socks. It's still fall here where I live. Okay, Luna, I'll let you out. Here we go. Okay. So then I will have fall socks finished, and just trying to clear my needles. Trying to get everything off the needles for Christmas. Where did I put the bag? I don't know where I put my bag. I set it down somewhere. Well, I don't know. I talked about these last time and how I knit these, how many rows, all of that, but I did these with 60 stitches because that's my preferred size for myself, and these will be for me. I already knit, I really want that bag because it has the yarn leftovers in it. I have no idea what happened to it. I already knit a shop sample with this same mini skein set. So the yarn in this one is my Cinnamon Spice and Everything Nice collection. And then I used, oh, let's turn that off. I used my cream soda colorway for in between and for the cuff and the toe. So just love that, love it. I guess I'll track down this bag when I clean everything up, but I was gonna pull out the yarn to show you how much I have left of each mini skein. But for Advent, knitting, crochet, makes, I just want to be ready for that. I don't want to have a million projects already waiting for me on the go, you know, that's worrying me. So I want to dive in to Christmas knits. So for Advent knitting, okay, here it is. There. Here's one of the patterns. I was just looking through thinking I want to do a sweater or a cardigan or something to use the mini skeins, because wraps are fun, but you only need so many of them. I don't really wear shawls as much, and I have some of those, so I don't need to add to that. I don't need more blankets, and if I'm going to make an Advent thing, I want to use it. I want to use it a lot. So I thought a sweater, especially a cardigan, is something I would use. So I spent some time looking around, trying to figure out, finding ones that use not mohair, fingering weight yarn, and I was debating on whether or not to hold it double with mohair or alpaca suri, and decided I wanted to not do that, and looking at yardage. So I decided that the Longline cardigan by Joji Locatelli would be the way to go because of the construction of it. Let me pull this off just a minute so you can see it better. So my understanding with this pattern is that you start knitting and you work back and forth across down. You don't have to go back and pick up for a collar. And so colors can fade down all the way from edge to edge. And that was something that was important to me so that it would be more seamless, and it's all worked in one piece down to a certain point. I have to look at the rest of the instructions to see, but looking at the yardage, I don't think I'd use like all 24 or 24 skeins, mini skeins, because I don't think I'd make this as long. I wouldn't want this to go down as low. I'd want it a little bit higher, but since it's made top down, you know, I can just see how long I want it to be and end it when I'm done. And then the sleeves, I will have to divide each 20-gram mini in half and do each half on one sleeve and the other so that it can be even across that way. So it doesn't look as random and scrappy is my hope. So that's what I was thinking I would do for an Advent project for knitting, but I have a crochet project that I want to do, and I think I'm going to do it with my own shop Advent, and it will be a wrap, which I said, oh, I don't need any more wraps, but I'm really thinking this one's going to be fun, and it's going to be crochet, and I'm making the pattern myself if I can make it work. If I can make it work, that's what I'm going to do, and I'll share it with you as I go along, but I'm not going to tell you about it now because I have to figure out if the numbers will even work. Okay, and then I got some happy mail. Oh, so fun. So one of my friends, Kimberly, she and I, we do a lot of swaps with each other. And so this is the latest one. It is probably the most perfect of all time. In a cute pink box. Okay, you're gonna die. Well, maybe you won't, but I did. Look at this. This is a cosmetics bag, but it is so perfect for a knitting project bag, especially for me. It is carousel horses and yummy carnival treats, popcorn, popsicles, caramel apples, cotton candy. Oh, I think it's the cutest. This bag is from Get It Creations. So they mostly have like cell phone, like highly decorative cell phone cases, and then a few bags. And oh, I love that bag. So I've been waiting. I'm like, I'm gonna be a really good girl, finish my projects. This is what I'm waiting to cast on when I finish the projects right now. This is gonna be one of my Christmas, I say Christmas, it's like a reward project for me. Okay, and then there was some yarn and some charms. So let's see this first one. She wanted to match the yarn to the bag. So the first one is from Potions and Pearls. Oh my word. This one's called the Sweet Melody Sock Set. It is, well, that doesn't add up. Oh yes, there we go. Okay. 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon, 100 grams, 437 yards for the main skein, 87 yards for the mini skein. It is so cute. Oh, love it. Love that one. Like, am I gonna make myself socks? Am I gonna make myself a hat? And am I gonna make mittens, a cowl? I don't know, but I'm gonna make something fabulous with that. And then this is a share a pair sock set, and she got one for herself and one for me. And this is by Mandy's Makings, and it is called Popsicle Paradise. And there are 250-gram skeins, approximately 231 yards each, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So I think she and I are going to figure out a pattern that we're going to make with ours together. So I love that. And now these stitch markers. Is that not the cutest? Okay, I'm gonna have to open it up because I can't see who it's by because it's in, like, the stitch marker is covering that. It's by Sam's Tiny Trinkets from Etsy, but then it says Fiber Arts Jewelry. So I don't know which one is the name. Let me move this. That is the cutest. So perfect. And then from the lemonade shop, there are two different sets. One is an It's a Small World. This is like the It's a Small World face. I don't think you can see it through here. Let's see. It's the clock face. And then some other little tiny stitch markers, or I can leave that dangling on there. And the other one are Haunted Mansion themed, which my friend, she and I both like those. I don't know if you can really see those here. They're so cute. They're iridescent. Oh, I love these. So now that I've shown you, now I can wind things up. I can start using it. I've just been waiting to show you. It's so cute. So I'm going to put it in my bag. And as soon as I finish that sweater, then I get to reward myself with casting on something with this one. Because I think next year she and I are going to make something with this set. So that's going to be fun. Okay. Now it's time. It's time I've been waiting for shop news. Okay, I have a lot of fun things to share with you. The very first one, when I went on our trip to Disneyland this year, there is a candy store in California that I've been wanting to visit when we go there. And so we made a side trip and we went to Logans Candies. And the reason I wanted to go there, I've been following them on Instagram, I think on YouTube maybe. They'll post videos of candy making. Well, they are the only ones that I have seen, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please let me know in the comments if you know of somebody else that still hand makes ribbon candy. I mean, okay, I know that there are some that make it, but they use a machine that does the spiraling, the crimping of it. But you can watch videos of Logan's Candies and they do it by hand. And so it's really fun. So I went there and just had a field day. Just so much fun picking through all of their ribbon candies. Because if I ever find ribbon candy at any store, it's usually, you know, like a specialty one. And they are usually only red and green and yellows, like for Christmas. Sometimes blue. But this one, let's see, it's so noisy. They had a patriotic one, and here's some pink and green. Here's turquoise and yellow. I love this one. This one's cotton candy flavored. Here's this one with yellows and pinks and reds. I have more, but the whole point of this is that I was so inspired by this that I wanted to make a Christmas ribbon candy sock set. So here it is. It has the pinks and the yellows and reds and turquoise. I didn't do greens and the like royal blues or anything like that. I really just love this combination. And I like that this is, though it's variegated, it's random so that you shouldn't get, you know, these big major pooling spots. So this is my new Christmas sock set, my new colorway for the year. And then I have dyed up some of my previous ones. So I was going to do a full-on collection and decided that's a bit much for Christmas because I also want to bring back previous years. So the ones that I decided to bring back this time, I'm missing one. Where did it go? I have my Silent Night sock set. I released this one last year, and it is a tonal deep blue on a sparkle base. It's so sparkly. And then I've paired it with my Nutmeg colorway, which is also on a sparkle base, and just love that. And then I also have Nutmeg separately. It's just such a lovely, rich color, just coppery. And this one is also on a sparkle base. And then I did my Peppermint Twist sock set. And I have dyed this one on fingering weight and on DK weight. I'm trying to think. I did both of these on fingering and DK. So I don't usually do as many DK though, because they're not as popular, but I still wanted to make sure to have some. So this one is on DK, you can see here, and it is a tonal pink base with some red flecks and then a really fun pop of, you know, a bright but pastel green. And so I've got that, and I've also got my Gingerbread Dream sock set that I've restocked. So I try to keep those in stock, but I did quite a few recently so that I would have those for the Christmas season. Okay, and then the other thing, well, one of the other things I did, come here Luna, right here, is I have kits for this cowl. So I only did a few of these. So what I have that I used in this cowl, this is the Crystal Barbie colorway, and it is on a DK crystalline sock base. Meaning crystalline means it sparkles. So not only is the name of it Crystal Barbie, which is sparkly, but it's on a sparkle base, which you can't quite see, but it's soft tones of pinks and purples and aquas to make it look kind of like ice. So I thought that would be perfect for this cowl. So this is kind of the white or bear color for that. So what it is, I have 3 colors in various, like in a gradient. So I have the pale, medium, and then really dark, like pink, purple. And these are 50-gram skeins of the same base. So I've got 3 there. And then, no, I didn't do 3 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's 7 50-gram skeins and 1 full 100-gram skein. Then I have 2 blues, and then I have 3 greens. A light, medium, and dark, and then I have a medium and dark blue. I didn't do the light one for that. I had sampled one, but when I was knitting with it, I found I didn't really use that one much, so I left that out in the kit. And then our light, medium, and dark. This is the lightest colorway of all of those, but together there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 450 grams of yarn. So that should be enough to make at least 1 cowl. Plus a hat, maybe 2 cowl. Well, it depends on what kind of cowl you make. If you do the infinity one that's much longer, it will take a lot more yarn. But this way you can have plenty of options for mixing and matching colors when you make the cowl. Okay, and then the other thing that I have done, I am working on clearing out bases that I no longer carry or do not plan to carry in the future. I just would like more room to stock the things that I do use, and so I have a lot of all these various bases that I decided that each time I dye yarn, I'm just gonna do a couple of custom, like one-of-a-kind sweater quantities. And the sweater quantities, like how much yarn it will be, is determined by how much yarn I have, or by the number of skeins that fit in a pan, or something like that. So they're all going to be different. So, but like I said, they're one of a kind. So I'm going to do that, and when I have enough of them in stock, then I will put them in a big batch and put them in my shop in a separate section of sweater quantity clear out. So I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got 8 or 9 different sweater quantities. Okay, the first one, I won't show you all the skeins. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skeins of this one. This one is my Unicorn Dew colorway on my DK Sprinkles base. And the base has kind of this gray tone to it, so it tones down the pastels a bit. Even though they're pastel neons, and it's so pretty. So this is a DK weight with 247 yards per skein, 85% superwash merino, 15% nips. So the little flecks. And so there are 6 skeins of that in this one. Okay, the next one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skeins of this one. So this should be a good amount. This is on my DK Bloom base, and this is the Aloha colorway. So I will not be carrying my DK Bloom base. This has been the DK weight base that I have used since the beginning of opening my shop, but I am switching over to my DK base being what I call DK sock because it has nylon in it, but I'm using that one because it's just a great DK weight base. That's good for sweaters, socks, hats, lots of things. So I don't really want to carry 2 that are very similar, one with nylon, one without, because then it's not quite as usable across the board if somebody wants to make socks with it. It doesn't have nylon in it. So, but it is really good for sweaters. So I've got 7 skeins of that one for that quantity, sweater quantity. And then this one has 6 skeins of that same base, and this is on my Berry Burst colorway. It is just a rich, vibrant pink that's gorgeous. I love this pink so much. So 6 skeins of that. Come here, girl. And then this one is a base. I have 3 different colorways with this base. The first one is my it's my Boysenberry Pie colorway, but the base is the truffle base. It is a fingering weight boucle slub yarn. I have made a sweater for myself with it, holding it double with mohair. I love it, love it. Oh, and then I used it also bare in last year's Advent project where I made was it the Polesden wrap? I think that was the name of the one that I did last year. Oh, love it. So I have 6 skeins of this one. It is 438 yards to 100 grams, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And it's just a gorgeous, deep, yummy purple. The next colorway in that same base I have 4 skeins of, and this is actually a new colorway. So I will have this colorway in the future, just not on this base. Oh, okay, I can't hold them all up. I have 3 skeins in my hand, but there's 4 skeins total. And this one is my Barbie pink colorway. I had a customer request, a custom request from a customer for a Barbie pink, and I loved it so much, I've just named it Barbie pink, and there it is. I love it. 4 skeins of that one. That looks funny in the camera. It just depends on how I'm holding it. The next one in that base, I also have, well, I'll show you the main colorway. It's Taffy. Oh, I love this colorway. Is it blue? Is it purple? Yes, it's both. But I mentioned before that I made myself a sweater holding this double with mohair. So I have 4 skeins of this yarn and 4 skeins of my cotton candy mohair to go with it. And the mohair, let me put these down. This is a new colorway, and this one is called Lavender Lollipop. It is a tonal, it's got purples, pinks, blues. I say tonal because, but it's more of a variegated. But oh, so soft. Look at that. So yummy. Put together. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, love this one. That's going to be a hard one to let go. That's the hard part. It's one reason why I've held on to some of these. It's been a while because I'm like, am I gonna let it go or am I gonna keep it? This is the one that took me a long time to decide. I decided I am going to sell it. I have 4 skeins of this one, and I'm just calling this my luxurious base because it is pure luxury. It is so wonderful. It is on the colorway Sand, but this is a natural dyed yarn. I used avocados, but it didn't really get any pink rosy hue to it, and I think it's because the base I used, it is baby alpaca, 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. And I've mentioned before that silk takes up dye differently, and having that 20% silk, I think, kind of changed a bit how it takes up the dye, but it is just this, it's like, I mean, I've called it sand. Is it sand? Is it seashell? Is it alabaster? It's just so beautiful, but it's 437 yards to 100 grams, and it's just has this gorgeous drape and shine to it. The sheen, not shine, but a sheen. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just so soft. So this would be really nice for a lacy pattern that really wants to drape and float. So a wrap, a cardigan, something like that. Oh, this one is, like I said, pure luxury. And I have 2 more to go. Well, I was dyeing that with avocados, and I tell you, I used like 20 avocado pits and peels, and I thought for sure it was going to be really dark, but it wasn't. And I love the color ended up, but it made me kind of think, well, what would it have looked like? And I kind of made an avocado colorway, but I call it sugar coated. This one is truly one of a kind because I do not have the recipe written down. It's get it while you can. So this is, why did I put this in here? This is not a base I'm getting rid of. This is my crystalline DK sock base. It's sparkly. It has sparkles. I don't know that you can see, kind of, but it's going in that sale. So there's 4 skeins of that. Each skein has 231 yards. And the last one is my DK Bloom base. I mentioned this one earlier. This one does not have the nylon in it. And this one is a colorway from my County Fair collection that I did years ago. I love that collection. And every now and again, I will dye one of those colorways back up. And one that's always popular is snow cone. Snow cone and cotton candy are both popular. But this one is Music Express. Love that one. There's 4 skeins, 250 yards each, which means there's 1,000 yards. So love that. Okay, so all of these are going to be going into my shop, and they will be in a separate section, and they will be discounted. I'm not sure how much, but they are one of a kind. So if you want it, you better get it because I'm not going to be able to dye it again because I won't have that base, or I don't have the colorway written down. Some of them I have the colorway. It's you know, a colorway that I dye on other bases, but some of them are neither. So is that everything? It is. I'm so excited for the holiday season coming up. Thanksgiving, I live in the US, so we still have Thanksgiving that we celebrate. So I am not setting up any Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. And that way I don't get burned out also on the holidays, you know, the Christmas holiday being an eternity long. I can still enjoy our fall, which is glorious right now. It is so pretty. I am enjoying it completely. Like, I was just out today taking photos and I was looking for a wintry backdrop, but the trees were all ablaze in color, in reds and golds and greens, and so I didn't get a wintry backdrop. That's okay, but I did get to see some beautiful colors and I am enjoying it. So I am just so thankful for each of you for stopping by again, for your wonderful comments, and I look forward to visiting with you again soon. Bye.